Hello everyone, I'm here to show you a quick tutorial on using two different types of images. That's one is this man's face here, and I also have another face of this girl, and I want to actually take or get rid of this man's eyes here, and I want to use this girl's eyes instead of this man's original eyes. So which means I'm trying to blend two images together. So let's go ahead and see how we can do that. So before we don't mess up further with these images, what we can do is I need to duplicate them. So I have one, and I'm just going to close the visibility so I can mess up with this one, and I'm also going to go ahead with this. And fortunately I do have a duplicate, so I can just go ahead with my editing. So first thing that we need to do is we are going to make sure as what we need to select from this girl's face, and we are going to use that selection or whatever the part that we have selected to blend with this guy's face. So as I told you earlier, I'm going to use my lasso tool, okay, and I'm going to select this girl's eyes because this is what I want to blend with that man's face. So how do you select it? You can use the lasso tool or pen tool, whatever you feel comfortable with, and then you can start drawing right on top of the image, but make sure you have a small distance when you are doing a selection, something like this. Okay, so once you have made a selection, you can always go ahead with the move tool, and then you can drag and drop the eyes right on top of this image. So now you can see that the image that I have selected from this girl is now here. So I need to make sure that this size really fits this man's face, okay, because this is too small. So I can click onto Control T, which is the transformation option, or else I can also go into edit and I can say free transform, that's Control T, and I still have this box here. So I can hold on to shift and I can just drag them together so that it equally sizes up. But then unfortunately I'm not sure whether I'm placing this image properly, so if I have to check that, I can select this layer and I can reduce the opacity that's on the right hand side, and once I reduce it maybe a little bit, I know where to place the eyes exactly. So now I can just move it a bit here, and then I can also move it on to the right a bit, so maybe based on the image that you have. And you can also check with the the pupils that's really matching in between, so you can see the pupil that's there. So let's see whether we can try to match the image based on the other image that is beneath this. Okay, so it's just a quick easy way to find out whether it is really okay. So okay, I feel that is all right. So let's see whether the size is okay. So I can bring the transparency back up. So this is what I have right now. So if I reduce the transparency completely, I can see the original eyes of this man, and if I increase it a bit, I can see the image that is blending. And then finally I know this is going to be the eyes that is going to be on this man's face. But then I still have a lot more work to do because the colors and everything has to match. But how is it possible? Yes, it is quite easy when you use a Photoshop blending option. But before that, we do have an extra work to do, which is really taking this man's eyes off from this original image, because we are trying to replace this eyes instead of the original eyes. So how are we going to get rid of his eyes? So to do that, you have to be really careful, because you need to use the blending options that is going to be in this Photoshop. So before you go ahead and directly select and delete it, let me tell you the correct way to do it. So what you have to do is you need to make sure you are on this layer and make sure it is visible, and then you can hold on to Control, and then once you get a pop-up, can you see that small box popping up, which means you can now click the left mouse button on your mouse, and then you get this selection coming up. Okay, so once you have this selection up, don't go ahead and directly select the next layer and delete it. Okay, we still have a little more to do. So what you have to do is we need to make sure that this selection is much exact. I mean, I can say this selection is accurate because this is exactly how it was, but I want a smaller selection compared to this because I need a certain area that can blend with the skin that is in this man's face. So how am I going to do that? Well, it's quite simple. You need to go to select and then go to modify, and you can click on contract. So I have my 6 pixels here, which means you can also add according to the image that you're using. So if I click on OK, you can see it is the selection is now much smaller than what it was, but then unfortunately I can see that it has gone too much here. So I need to make sure that it's a little away from this area. If not, it'll just cut this part. So I can just go ahead, Control D to deselect, Control plus this, and then I can go to select, modify, contract, but this time I'm going to give only 5. So now it's much more better. So now what I have to do is I need to make sure I click the other layer because I want to delete this man's eyes. Okay, so I'm going to close this. I'm going to select this layer. I'm going to say delete. So once I say delete, you can see his eyes are completely removed. Okay, and then you can turn this girl's face on. So I mean girl's eyes on. I'm sorry. So once you have this selected, you can click on Control D in order to get rid of the selection, and now you can see, well, it is okay, there's no problem, but still what happened? Still the blending is not happening. But how to do it? Select both these images, okay, and go to edit and go down to auto blend layers because we have selected 2 layers, and I'm going to say stack images. I'm going to click them up, and I also have these 2 options: seamless tones and colors, content aware fill, transparent areas. Yes, I'm going to select both of them, and I say okay, and give it some time. So all you can see is like, well, this is just a warning, but just say okay, and now you can see that the eyes is completely blended with this image. Okay, and if in case sometimes there might be some color difference or lighting differences, but then here according to this image I feel it's quite okay. But if you still want to go ahead and do some adjustments based on the color, you can always go ahead and add some adjustment layers or adjustment effects. That's right here, and you can also go ahead and select the whatever the adjustment layer that you want options, and then you can also start playing with that slowly, and you will see some changes. But then I don't want to change anything because I feel right now this image is perfectly alright. So I feel it's okay to leave it as it is, but if in case you still want to do some changes, you can also try something like this, applying some levels and curves, and you can make your image much more realistic. Well, that's it for today, and thank you for watching. You can also watch some of my other tutorials which I have made really fast and quick, just for your quick reference. So thank you and have a good day.